To one of our top stories this morning, the UK's smart motorway network has CCTV to identify cars that are broken down. But research seen by BBC Breakfast shows that cameras are not being monitored all the time.
Motorists currently have to wait an average of 17 minutes before they're spotted on CCTV and a further 17 minutes before they're actually rescued. Breakfast John Maguire has this special report.
They are our safest roads. And in making some of them smart, congestion has been reduced. But at a terrible cost. "38 people have died on smart motorways in the past 5 years. Among them, Nargis Bashir, who was killed when the car she was travelling in with her husband broke down.
It broke down on a live lane. Dad could see the traffic was travelling at the side of him, but never imagined for a second what would happen next. And as soon as I got there, I just saw sirens and flashing lights, ambulances, and I could see my mum. Obviously they were resuscitating and doing CPR, but within a matter of minutes we were told she's no more.
There are two types of smart motorway. Firstly, where the hard shoulder's been replaced with an extra lane. The only safe place to stop, if the driver has the ability to make it, is an emergency refuge. When this idea was first trialled, they were every 600 metres. Now, in some cases, they are more than 2 miles apart. The second, known as dynamic, is where the hard shoulder can be switched on and off during peak times. Overhead gantries tell drivers whether or not they can use them. The head of Highways England told MPs they are too complicated.
Because people aren't sure whether it's a hard shoulder or a running lane, even when it is open, the usage of that running lane is much lower because people aren't sure whether it's a hard shoulder or not. So I don't think we will be building any more dynamic hard shoulder smart motorways. They're just too complicated for people to use.
To that very point, isn't it?
Transport Secretary Grant Shapps has ordered a review, welcomed by Mrs Bashir's family, but they believe words and promises mean little. They demand action.
How much longer before those near misses turn into actual hits? And that there won't be a stat on a piece of paper. That's going to be further lives lost. That's going to be more families broken just like ours. And that's not good enough.
The network is monitored by CCTV cameras and screens in control centres. But in response to a Freedom of Information request, Highways England told the BBC all screens cannot be observed around the clock. A study found the average time to reach a car stranded on a smart motorway, so in an active lane, is 17 minutes. The AA has given us footage showing various near misses.
He's already been going for a couple of minutes, at least. I suppose the point here being that he's looking for a refuge.
Mira's 8-year-old son Dev was killed when the car he was in was hit while stopped on a smart motorway.
Devastated at the circumstance, devastated at which way our lives have had to change in a different direction. There's not been anger. I just have a passion for this change because I don't want anyone else to go through what we have. I can't bring Dev back, no one can bring Dev back, but we can stop this happening to anyone else.
The Department for Transport says it owes it to the families of those killed for its safety review to be thorough and quick, and expects to announce an outcome very shortly. Highways England says it's committed to implementing any new recommendations as part of its work to make roads safer. If the campaigners are successful, then smart motorways will be safer. Many, though, want them scrapped altogether. But ultimately, these roads should be